Hey guys, this is Matt Lofton. This is my YouTube channel, Georgia Boys. Today we're going to recap week 0 with my friend Fidal Miller and discuss week 1 and my dogs and his hogs. How you doing, Fidal?
What's going on, man? How are you?
I'm doing good. Really excited for this college football season. So week 0 started 2 days ago. Um, Florida versus Miami. You had a freshman quarterback, and for Miami, didn't really test him too much. 19 for 30, 214 yards. DJ Dallas for Miami, really good. Two new O lines, Miami, Florida. Miami really struggled in the pass rush. They couldn't handle D line in Florida. Lots of mistakes. I was really disappointed. Well, not really, but Felipe Franks didn't really do nothing. The Florida game didn't run. It was basically out of mistakes. Then you had Arizona, Hawaii, which was supposed to be two good senior quarterbacks, Khalil Tate in Arizona and Colt McDonald for Hawaii. Very talented, but they kind of screwed it up. Colt McDonald got benched through 4 interceptions, but also threw 4 touchdown passes. Khalil Tate did great, but lost in the game 45-38 by just a smidge. At a 30-yard run, got tackled at the 1-yard line. But enough of week 0. It's about to start off the official college football season, week 1, the most wonderful time of the year. I'm going to talk a little about Georgia first. Georgia, we all know about our offensive line led by Sam Pittman, quarterback. The main question mark of the season is our wide receivers, which can be hopefully by D-Rob, Lawrence Cager, Pickens, Blaylock, replacing them. Those are the guys. Our expectations are obviously win the East, go to SEC title game with the chance to go to the playoffs, and hopefully win that and go to the playoffs and win that championship and continue that dynasty run in the East and make ourselves power. Now, Fadal, I have a couple quick questions for you. Chad Morris, first year as a head coach, definitely a rough ride for y'all. 2-10. Now, not all of his fault. It's not his program yet, but he's going to get more identity. What about your expectations in the state of Arkansas about Chad Morris in this year 2?
Okay. I'll clear a couple things up really quick. I'd make the argument that it's his program, not his players, and that's pretty much a huge causation behind why it's such a transition issue right now. Is because he's trying to recondition the mentality, or that Bielema mentality, and things like that, and the stuff that transpired before that. And he's kind of trying to shift the paradigm of everybody. But as far as the average Hog fan, I think that the best thing for us is try to squeeze at least 6 games in. That's a huge jump from two game winning season to 6 games and things like that. Especially when you only have one full recruiting class under your belt. That will speak volumes for us. There's a lot of unknown X factors right now, a lot of uncertainty, but things will start getting a lot more conclusive as time goes on.
And for your quarterback situation, name your guys that are candidates and why they can be the starting job for week 1?
Right. Okay. So we're looking at 2 different guys that are viable right now. Number one's going to be the SMU transfer, Ben Hicks, and the rationale as to why he would be one of the top guys, because he is a veteran under the Chad Morris system. He has a better idea, better experience, better grasp of the concepts that Chad Morris wants to run, and he has ran them. Okay. Um, um, then you have Nick Starkel, the Texas A&M transfer, and the school of thought on him is that he has SEC caliber experience under his belt, as well as a strong, substantially strong arm. You know, I know that Morris values speed, and he does like to throw the football. When there is speed in the receiving core, and Nick Starkel possesses some of those elements that could work for us as well. So as of right now, I believe we're 6 days away from kickoff for us. It's
Same.
still there's still some unknown variables there with the quarterback or who's going to start off, under center.
Yeah, it'll be a pretty exciting turnaround, especially with the recruitment areas that Chad Morris knows. He's as a high school coach in Texas. He knows the Texas area very well. So I think definitely need to turn around, win at least one SEC game, a bowl game, and start taking over. Like especially with Mississippi State, with their probations, you take over 2 or 3 teams in the SEC, recruiting wise and winning on the field wise. That's when things can start rolling. So, other than Georgia and Arkansas, Georgia, plays Vanderbilt, and Arkansas, they play what, Alcorn State?
You open up with Portland State.
Portland State. Okay, FCS school out west in Oregon. Now, so the big games this week you got in the cupcake week for the Big 12, the Big 12 games. Everyone plays a cupcake except for Oklahoma State, which really kind of is. They play Oregon State. Then in the Big 10, you got the big games in the Big 10. You got Northwestern and Stanford, which are the battle of the two smart elite schools. I love their coaches. You got Stanford with the star quarterback in KJ Costello. Northwestern lost their quarterback in Clayton Thorson, but two very well respected programs there. In the SEC, you got North Carolina, who hasn't done anything, 2-10. New coach Mac Brown versus South Carolina, who needs a big win in Charlotte. And you got Auburn and Oregon, which is something I want to talk to you about. Auburn as a freshman quarterback versus a senior who's supposed to be a top 10 pick in the NFL. What's your predictions in that game?
Well, as you know, Auburn starts to has the proclivity to start off strong and things like that, and then they'll buffle out towards the end. And
3 out of 4
you know
years.
anything about the 2010 national championship, these guys have somewhat of a kind of a semi history. Um, Honestly, I think Auburn finds a way to win. I think Malzahn will find a way to string up the right plays in this instance anyway, and I think they'll come out with it. I mean, there's really not much to say on them right away. Sorry about that.
It's okay.
But that's essentially it, man.
Yeah, I believe it'll be a fourth quarter game. To be with the freshman quarterback Bo Nix, they should have run the ball, clock, don't turn over the football, and if they can get in the fourth quarter with, I believe they're in the trenches, they can win it. It all depends on, can Auburn effectively run the ball, which I think they could, and can Bo Nix not make the mistake and not get too rattled, because if he makes a mistake and he gets rattled, Justin Herbert, and they get rolling, I think things could get out of hand. I think it'll be a fourth quarter battle, but right now, even though I just got to go with the senior quarterback in Justin Herbert, he's going to be he's a top 5 quarterback in college football, so it'll be a close game. In Oregon, they have to win this one if they want to change in the playoffs, even though I don't think they will. They'll probably stub their toe once or at least twice, or at least once, twice. And then in the Pac 12, you got USC and Fresno State, Mountain West versus Pac 12, which Pac 12 is, let's be honest, 4th or 5th best conference. 4th if you don't include Clemson, 5th if you do for ACC. And then you got, for me as a Georgia rooting interest, you got Mel Tucker, first year at Colorado, versus Mike Bobo, former Bulldog, offense coordinator, clashing at it in Colorado. And then you got the Holy War, which BYU hasn't been the same since Bronco Mendenhall left, and then Utah is, they're competing for a Pac-12. I do believe they're more on the pretender side than the contender sides. But yeah, those are the games in the Pac-12, the ACC. The biggest one I see there that might be competing is Boise State and FSU. Now, FSU, they've had DeAndre Francois being kicked off the team.
James
Now he's
Blake.
going to, yeah. And so in the second year, what do you think I'm trying to say, what do you think the expectations and the level that they need to win for Florida State fans to stay, I don't know, not angry and not trying to lit the coaching on fire? My words were scrambled there.
Oh, you're talking Boise State and FSU?
Yes, Boise State and FSU.
Yeah, that was actually going to end up being what I would say probably one of the, I'd say the second most interesting, or third if you're counting my Hogs, third most interesting game for me.
Oh, yeah.
I'll definitely be paying attention to. If you notice, this isn't, relatively speaking, it's not that exciting of a kickoff week.
That's true.
This is probably one of the weakest lineups and we've had in a while. I think the 2017 was semi okay. It'll be nothing like that 2013 lineup. That was woo. But yeah. But I think really it's hard. I really don't have a basis to predict that one either, man.
By name brand and by the way that Florida State is supposed to be in year two, Florida State should win by like 10 to 14 points. But, they've laid an egg to start the season last year.
You can't always go off of prestige because Winston and Freeman ain't there anymore. So it's a lot of uncertainty here on August 25th. Who knows? Boise might find a way to slither out. I understand that it is, in fact, at Tallahassee. Yeah.
No, it's in Jacksonville.
Okay. Yeah. So
it's basically a home game for Florida State.
Right. Essentially. So it's, yeah, man. Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah. Mainly, I think it'll be a tight game. Again, another week one where obviously week ones are always going to be ugly. It's just how it is. Offenses are not synced together, and that's just how it's going to be. But to me, I guess I'm going to go by name brand. I'm going to go with Florida State. Honestly, probably just because of that. And I really wouldn't be surprised if they laid an egg.
Boise State has had some sleeper seasons as well. So.
Oh yeah, well they've been the last 20 years they've had the highest winnings, and they've beaten Oklahoma's, they've beaten TC's, they've beaten really good teams. They're the cream of the crop in Group of Five.
And by no means is FSU an exception, especially right now. Considering what they've been going through and what they've not been able to do.
Yeah. Well, that's all we have for today's episode. I just want to say thank you, Vidal, for having you come over, and that's all. And go Dogs.
Yes, sir. Go Hogs. Hammer down. Looking forward to an exciting, compelling season.